This is your News Source Evening Bulletin for today, Tuesday, the 18th day of July in the year 2023. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting, and here's what we're tracking tonight. The opposition APNU-AFC is questioning the move by the government to offer that $5 million settlement to the families of the victims of the Mahdia school dorm fire, even before a commission of inquiry is held. The opposition believes the payout should not be accepted at this stage. 20 children lost their lives in the fire, while several others were injured. In a release this morning, Opposition Member of Parliament Royce Dilford said while no amount of money can bring back the lives that were lost and the trauma faced by those who survived, the government ought not to move in such a reckless manner to offer a payout to the family without the outcome of a credible inquiry. The government has long promised a commission of inquiry, with the president declaring last week that moves have been made to identify the commissioners to sit on that inquiry.
The miserly sum announced cannot compensate for the years those children lived, the potential value for the investment in those years, and the potential value of each life. Government must therefore make public what formula they use to price the grief, because it appears as though they just plucked a number from the sky. The sum offered reeks of government manipulation to circumvent the arms of justice from holding the government accountable for their failure to provide safe and secure dwelling for the nation's children held in their protection.
Mr. Ford, who is also the Shadow Minister of Legal Affairs, said parents of the victims should not accept the payment from the government, calling it undervaluing the lives of the children.
We need to address our minds to whether these persons were coerced to sign without full understanding of the ramifications. I'm inclined to believe the manner in which the Ali government sought to sequester and isolate the families immediately after the tragedy was guided not by care nor compassion, but sinister motive, now made clear by a document families signed, absolving the government for any future potential claims for liability and injury. This must be rejected.
Meanwhile, another opposition member of parliament, Amanza Walton-Desir, said the agreement as presented to the families effectively ties the hands of those families from making future claims, even if a commission of inquiry were to find the state liable.
This clause of this contract seems to suggest, or of this agreement, seems to suggest that they are precluded from claiming anything legally, and that whatever they get will be dependent on the largesse of this government, and that is completely unacceptable. The decent way, the right way for this matter to have been dealt with was for a commission of inquiry to be empaneled in the shortest possible time, because we need to get to the root cause of the system's failure. What failed? What happened? What were the systems that failed that caused us to lose 20 of our young people?
The opposition MPs said the manner in which the government continues to address the matter and deal with the families in the aftermath of the tragic fire brings to light its treatment of indigenous communities. Attorney General Anil Nandlal has defended the government's decision to offer the settlement, explaining that independent legal advice was provided to the families ahead of them signing on to the agreement. We'll have more on this story coming up after the break. Stay with us.
It's been a long time coming. Overdue, some might say, but now that it's here, it will change life forever, and it is here to stay. The future is now, transforming Guyana into the 21st century. Introducing GTT Fiber. Experience internet connectivity like never before. Speeds you deserve at prices you can afford from a name you can trust. Sign up today. GTT Fiber is here. GTT. Together, we rise faster.
Oh my lord. I just love to shop in this store. My customers, them gonna love all these things. So many different things in one place. Household items, electronics, toys, stationery, confectionery, exercise equipment, shoes and clothes for men, women and children, school things, costume, jewelry, perfume, makeup. Oh, look the makeup!
Giftland Office Max, Guyana's favorite department store.
The Quarantine Highway from Palmyra to Crabwood Creek Region 6 is being upgraded and widened to improve the lives of thousands of Guyanese. Some $27.7 billion is going towards the widening of the structures along the carriageway to accommodate a 4-lane highway and to relocate utilities. Oil revenues are being channeled into Guyana's development and is benefiting infrastructural projects such as these.
Bust the flavors. We're full of flavors. Bust the flavors, that my crave for. We're full of flavors. Tell your neighbors about the bust the flavors. Grab a bust the flavors. Yeah, thirst buster. Grab a buster. Bust the flavor, taste the savor. Bust the flavors. Bust the flavors.
Are you looking for the best high school education at affordable fees? Then register your child today at the VYC Academy, now enrolling grades 7, 8, and 9 students for the 2023-2024 academic year. VYC Academy, achieving academic excellence. For more information, call us on 227-1013 or WhatsApp us at 613-4806.
Strong and solid in countries far and wide. New India Assurance, we're standing by your side. Golden service, half a century and more. New India Assurance, our policies are secure. From the heart of India, we serve these islands. The strength that you can trust, you're safe when you come to New India Assurance Company. Assurance when you need it most.
For your home, motor or business insurance, visit New India Guyana office, 58 Brickdam next to Star Computers. Telephone 226-0415-7. Comfortable parking available.
Let's tell you now that Attorney General Anil Nandlal has defended the government's decision to offer that $5 million settlement to the families of the children who died and who survived the Madhya school dorm fire. And he believes the government should be complimented for its decision to offer the financial assistance. During an interview on the state-owned NCN TV on Monday night, the Attorney General reiterated that the government remains committed to offering assistance to the relatives of the victims, making it clear that the government did not have to do what it is now doing.
We should be complimented rather than condemned, as I see some attempts are being made to do in certain quarters by disengagement. You know, the government didn't have to do this. You realize that? We did not have to offer a cent in financial assistance. The fact is that we have done it. And not because anyone pressured us to do it, because we felt that it is the least that could have been done and can be done in the circumstances.
The Madhya school dormitory where the fire took place falls directly under the government and is fully funded by the government. Under the terms of the financial assistance agreement, the parties agreed that the financial assistance should be seen as a compromise and settlement of all potential claims for liability, injury, loss and damage concerning the events of the fire. While noting that the government has provided assistance to the families of the victims and will continue to offer various forms of assistance, the Attorney General stated that the agreement should not be seen as contradictory to the upcoming Commission of Inquiry into the same school dorm fire.
Let me make it abundantly clear that there is no connection between the two. The Commission of Inquiry, as promised by His Excellency, will be established and will be conducted in accordance with the terms of reference establishing that Commission of Inquiry.
Mr. Nandlal said the terms of reference for the Commission of Inquiry are still to be completed, and the money to be paid out as part of the agreement should not be seen as any effort to hush the family from participating in the Commission of Inquiry. He said the money to be paid out to the families will be drawn from the public's purse, and therefore it will have to make its way to the National Assembly and made public, since it represents money that was not catered for in the budget.
So I don't know on what basis persons have come to the conclusion that there is going to be, that it is being done in a hush manner.
The Attorney General's interview with a state-owned TV followed earlier comments on Monday that he provided a news source confirming the settlement. A press statement from his chambers came hours after his comments on news source. Although the agreement was presented to the families on the 3rd of July, it was never made public until yesterday, when news source broke the story. With an increase in recorded malaria cases in regions 1, 7, 8, and 9, the Ministry of Health says it will be embarking on a new approach to help reduce those cases. Last year, one of the Health Ministry's strategies was to give special bed nets to residents, particularly those in the gold mining communities where malaria is most prevalent. The Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, is urging the use of those nets as the government seeks partnerships to help with the fight against malaria.
We have given out more than 60,000 of these nets across these regions. They come in two forms. So one is to actually put on the bed, but because we recognize that people in the interior of our country, some of them sleep in hammocks, we also have hammock nets.
The health minister said another challenge that his ministry is facing with malaria patients is for them to complete their treatment. He explained that a number of those patients would take the medication for a few days, but once they feel better, they would stop the treatment, and that's not good enough.
That can lead to a different problem, right? Because the parasite can develop resistance to the medications that we're using, and we want to avoid that. So it's good for people to complete their treatment.
It was explained that the government has been working on a project with USAID to ensure compliance with the medication. The Health Ministry has also introduced rapid testing kits for faster diagnosis. Meanwhile, the Ministry of Health plans to move into the affected regions to train persons to self-diagnose malaria. According to the World Health Organization, Guyana represents about 3% of malaria cases in the Americas, with more than 20,000 cases being recorded annually, primarily in the interior regions.
The GRA will commence the registration of electric motorcycles from July 4, 2023. Present your electric motorcycle and the following documents to complete the registration: completed motor vehicle application form, purchase receipt or affidavit of loss, purchase receipt, and a valid ID. These documents and your electric motorcycle should be presented to the Licensed Revenue Office at Lamaha Railway Embankment or any of the 8 integrated regional tax offices across the country. It costs $750 to register your electric motorcycle, and the revenue license fee ranges from $1,250 to $2,500 based on the weight of the electric motorcycle. You will be given a 3-month grace period to register your electric motorcycle from July 4, 2023. Remember, you must be the holder of a valid driver's license to drive an electric motorcycle on the roadways. GRA, your partner in development.
We jam and jam up. Let me jam and jam up. Beat it like a fan.
So champ, I passed here last week and this shop lock up tight.
Why? We come down with the flow, so we have to take a couple of days.
I can't deal with them kind of setbacks, man. I just get a headache when you see I can't make me little bread.
I know them ways, champ. But thank God for NIS.
NIS? What you got to do now with NIS?
I mean, what I got to do with NIS? I register as self-employed and I make monthly contributions to NIS. Oh. So you see, for them days I lose, NIS pay me back for most of them days.
What? That's good. You know, I always used to believe that it's only people in big offices and so they pay NIS.
Nah man, NIS for any working person between the ages of 16 to 60. And as self-employed, you get all the benefit as an employee except for industrial benefits.
So what I do for set up this thing?
All I gotta do is visit NIS on Breakdown, or if you live in out of town, you can visit any NIS closest to your location. And once you register and your registration complete, you can start making NIS contributions.
Alright, so what I walk with and like how much money I gotta pay a month?
I ain't gotta walk with no big money. All I gotta walk with is your birth certificate and any farm ID. And when you reach down there, ask for the compliance department.
Good. Thanks for the information, bro. As soon as I left here, I went straight to the NIS office.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
More than a month after their homes were bulldozed by a private developer while the police kept guard, residents of Hillfoot on the Suzik-Linden Highway continue to face harsh living conditions, with many of them being forced to live in makeshift huts and tents. Close to 50 of the displaced residents came to the city today, hoping to meet with the Minister of Housing and the head of the Lands and Surveys Commission. They launched a picketing exercise this morning to bring attention to their plight. One resident, Daniel Primo, told News Source that notwithstanding a commitment by the government to fast-track the housing process for them, it has been weeks with no new information from the authorities. At the Ministry of Housing, Minister of Housing Colin Kroll met with the residents briefly, but they left that meeting dissatisfied.
It was said to me that some people will be allocated with turnkey house. Some of the persons are right here that sign up for the turnkey house. At Lands this morning, at Housing this morning, the Housing Minister said you only have 8 persons that apply for the turnkey house. When we check, there's nobody that come down from Hillfoot there on the paper that he have for the turnkey house. So we do not know which is the 8 person he get, where he find the 8 person from.
Another displaced resident of Hillfoot, Annuel Park, says his entire family is now living in a plastic house.
My house get pushed down, not my house alone. There's more house get pushed down. And right now, how I living in this situation now, I am not too pleased how I living in a plastic pooling, and I dip on the ground, sleeping, and those things. I would like to ask Minister for coming there and check out early as possible. I could come at land and survey the place, so everybody will get to know where is this man boundary, right? I want they come early as possible because we are not comfortable. Right now we out of water, drinking water, we drinking water from the creek, where we go and bathe and stay in the water eating your skin and those things like that.
Pointing to his grandson, Park said the toddler is now experiencing rashes on his skin as a result of the water and the sand in the area. Mother of 4, Gita Alam, said her children are also experiencing the rashes on their skin due to their current poor living conditions.
Well, my children, they are sleeping in a little house, whereby we call it a house, but we are not comfortable because of how we are. We are not comfortable, we are uncomfortable, and they're not safe. And I am a single parent, and I am not safe with my children because we are not secure anymore. So the condition how we are.
Is it a plastic house, tents, just like?
Yeah, all of us is living in tents. We are in tents, and we need someone to help us out from this situation. We don't need promises anymore.
The young mother also spoke about police harassment. She said the police would constantly arrest them and place them on station bail with little information on the reason for the arrest. Anna Smith, another young mother from the area, told News Source that her 5-year-old daughter has been sick and traumatized by the horrifying events that unfolded at Hillfoot.
Well, since then, we had to do a camp, and I have a 5-year-old with to get this sick steady with the heat, and the cold has the tendency to have the plastic hole in the heat. And the child keep asking questions, Mommy, the man come down and bulldoze at the house. Even if a vehicle pass through, she asking, Mommy, is the police coming? Look, last night 12 o'clock, vehicle patrol at the back. The children can't sleep without asking questions.
Meanwhile, rights activist and former Minister of Government Simona Brooms, who stood in solidarity with the residents today, told News Source that the government should do more to assist the residents.
I think it is unfair. It is sad. I was there. There's no water, itch coming out from the children's skin. They're getting sick. They're living in plastic. They're living in shed and shacks. Right now, I was asking persons on my live this morning to get water. Drinking water is a big thing. It's like diamond in Hillfoot. And with this hot sun, I've seen children on that sun without shoes. I think that it is shameful enough, but at the same time, I don't think that this is a political matter. This is governance matter. And the government got to govern for them because they're Guyanese people.
After hours of waiting, the residents were able to meet with the Commissioner of Lands, who again promised to sort out the applications that are before him. Guyana's Minister of Amerindian Affairs, Pauline Sukai, today told a UN expert mechanism on the rights of indigenous peoples that the Guyana government is working earnestly to ensure the rights of indigenous people in Guyana are upheld. The Amerindian Affairs Minister at the time was addressing the 16th session of the AMRIP, currently being held in Switzerland. She told the UN forum that Guyana is on an aggressive path of inclusive, equitable and sustainable development as the government builds a One Guyana. She said the country's indigenous people have an equal and relevant place in the efforts to build One Guyana.
Given the historical and geographical challenge that the indigenous people have faced, the government of Guyana has remained committed to removing any existing gaps through the promotion of policies and decisions to promote indigenous people's rights.
The Amerindian Affairs Minister also said, cognizant of the contributions that indigenous people continue to make throughout the world, the government of Guyana, under its low-carbon development strategy, has set aside 15% of all revenues earned from the sale of the country's carbon credits for the indigenous communities. The funds, she said, are being used to roll out the village sustainable plans across indigenous communities around the country. The Amerindian Affairs Minister also told the UN Forum that the LCDS is based on extensive consultation with the indigenous peoples and their leaders.
Guyana continues to prioritize indigenous peoples' development through the Ministry of Amerindian Affairs, currently being held under my portfolio, which provides direct investments to indigenous villages and communities to be utilized in a manner that has been determined by the people. This is done through the provision of presidential grant and investment funds, which are utilized for infrastructure, social or economic projects within the villages.
It was also explained that the government of Guyana has embarked on annual capacity building programs to enhance skills and knowledge of indigenous leaders and young people from the indigenous communities. The minister is being accompanied to the UN meeting by the legal officer of the Amerindian Affairs Ministry, Miriam Andrew Ming. The expert mechanism provides the Human Rights Council with expertise and advice on the rights of indigenous peoples. It also assists member states in achieving the goals of the UN Declaration on the Rights of the Indigenous People. Despite domestic and other challenges, Guyana has still been able to partially implement many of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, according to the Minister responsible for Finance, Dr. Ashley Singh. He made those comments while presenting Guyana's second national review of the SDGs at Monday's UN High-Level Political Forum. The minister said despite the aftermath of the 2020 elections in Guyana, the COVID-19 pandemic, and the country's 2021 floods, the government still pressed ahead with its commitment to the Sustainable Development Goals.
Overall, we've managed to improve data collection within these goals for tracking progress. And the achievements reflected are as a result of deliberate policy and program interventions that are focused on accelerating development to ensure gains are made for all Guyanese.
Under Goal 6, which deals with clean water and sanitation, the minister responsible for finance said the Guyana government has taken steps to ensure sustainability and availability of water by investing in infrastructure and equipment that will bring potable water supply to more than 30,000 persons in the country's hinterland.
This has increased the proportion of hinterland population with access to safe water supply from 33.8% in 2019 to 75% as at the end of 2022. Additionally, in order to ensure affordability to the most vulnerable, we have removed the water tariff on the first 10 cubic meters of water per month consumed by 28,000 senior citizens, removed value-added tax on water charges, and reduced water tariffs across the board
Under Goal 7, which focuses on clean energy, Dr. Singh said there has been significant investment in solar farms. He also unveiled the planned gas-to-energy project, which the government sees as a game-changer for the country's energy needs. Dr. Singh told the UN meeting that the government of Guyana is also observing SDG 9, which addresses infrastructure development.
New and expanded transport networks, including new highways, bridges and ocean-going vessels, have already increased capacity for movement of people and cargo. Additionally, business incubators and business process outsourcing have seen greater employment of women over recent years.
Dr. Singh also told the high-level meeting that the country is also doing more for housing, with a number of housing drives being held across the country. There are 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which represent an urgent call for action by all countries, the developed and the developing, in a global partnership.
Did you know Guy Super 95 gasoline has an octane rating of 95, the highest rating available in Guyana? This premium fuel is known to enhance the performance of your engine, making it run smoother and more efficiently, leading to better fuel economy and improved performance. Choose Super 95 for more mileage and better overall performance.
Sorry.
Jack?
Hey.
Boys, where you going with all that speed?
Yo, today's the 15th. My NIS contributions are due, and I ain't even get the forms as yet.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that you're not aware that all self-employed persons can now make their NIS contributions using the MMG app from the comforts of their homes and offices?
Really? You know, I just pay my bills using MMG, you know?
Yes, Jack. And the thing's simple. All you have to do is open the app, select Pay Bills, Government Services, NIS, and Pay. They will prompt you to enter your NIS number, the month you're paying for, and the amount.
So I don't need to submit any form?
No. The only time you submit in a form is when you're making a claim.
Wait, I could make a claim too?
Oh, no, man. You didn't know that? Yes. All self-employed persons are entitled to all benefits from NIS. Well, except for the industrial benefits. And here's the good part. All of their forms, you can download them from the NIS website.
Well, girl, I'm really glad I bumped into you.
Anyhow, make sure you pay your bills later.
Later? I gotta sit down right here and pay my contributions first.
Take care.
For further information, please visit the website at www.nis.org.gy, the National Insurance Scheme Facebook page, or your nearest NIS office.
Food Max Supermarket, located on the ground floor at the Giftland Mall, is your one-stop shop for all your grocery needs. We stock a variety of imported frozen meat and food products, fresh produce, and pet supplies, freshly made bread. Rotisserie chicken and patties are also available daily. Shopping comfort today at Food Max and let our courteous staff assist you in satisfying your shopping needs. Food Max, the fresh food specialist.
It's one of your biggest goals, getting your own home, where memories are made, where happiness lives. You may feel that home ownership or renovation is beyond your reach, but we at Republic want you to know that there's always a way. Ask us about our suite of mortgages. Let's help make your housing wishes come true. Or advise on how the equity in your existing home can finance other dreams and goals. Call or go online to learn more.
Look who's in the mix now. The new Buster Soda Water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, 0 artificial flavors. 100% refreshing. Taste Buster Soda Water today. Buster Soda Water, now available for only $120.
With your regional and international news tonight, I'm Svetlana Marshall. In the region, a diplomatic row has been simmering between Washington and Kingston over Jamaica's refusal to accredit the spouse of an American diplomat. Radio Jamaica News in a report said the dispute is threatening to sour diplomatic relations between the two traditional allies.
Earlier this year, the United States government wrote to the Jamaican government seeking its approval for the married partner of a diplomat about to be posted to Jamaica and who is in a same-sex relationship to be given diplomatic immunity and all the privileges of a diplomat. It's believed the Jamaican government did not respond to the request in a timely manner. When the U.S. sent another diplomatic note demanding a response, the Jamaican government responded, rejecting the request. A senior government source told Radio Jamaica News that an approval of the request would mean Jamaica recognizes same-sex marriages, which is illegal in the country. According to the source, the U.S. then responded, rejecting a request from the Jamaican government to extend the stay of 3 diplomats in Jamaica's embassy and consulates in the U.S. The U.S. served notice that the trio must leave immediately after their 5-year diplomatic visa expires. This is in contrast to what now obtains, where extensions to diplomatic visas for Jamaican diplomats beyond the 5-year period are routine. Reuters in a report said the European Union pledged more investment for Latin America and the Caribbean at a summit on Monday as part of a revamp of its international relationships prompted by Russia's war on Ukraine and growing weariness of China. As more than 50 leaders from Europe, Latin America and the Caribbean gathered in Brussels, the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen told a business forum that the 3 regions needed each other more than ever. She cited the repercussions of the coronavirus pandemic, the war in Ukraine, and China's growing assertiveness abroad as challenges that the trio should face together. The EU is the biggest foreign investment in Latin America and the Caribbean, but China has become its biggest trading partner. And finally tonight, international news. Heat waves intensified across southern and eastern Europe, Asia, and much of the United States on Tuesday, as the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, warned of an increased risk of deaths due to the extreme weather. Across the United States, Americans grappled with a medley of extreme weather, from blazing heat to wildfire smoke-choked air and flood warnings, with a tropical storm headed to Hawaii. The southwestern city of Phoenix, Arizona, on Tuesday exceeded 110 degrees Fahrenheit for the 19th day in a row, breaking its all-time record of 18 straight days over 110. With baking temperatures hitting Europe during the peak summer tourist season, WMO said the heat wave in the northern hemisphere was set to intensify. An estimated 61,000 people may have died in heat waves last year in Europe alone. The World Health Organization's regional director for Europe said the world must look ahead while adapting to the new reality of killer heat waves and other extreme weather.
And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.